Welcome back to Working for the Rich and Famous podcast. As you know, we are here each week, each Wednesday, talking with different people who have had successful careers in the private sector. Where are we now? I think we're four in now. Four in. Once again, thank everybody for your support. Everyone's saying such nice things. It's really nice to get some good feedback. I'm really glad that we are helping others, educating and inspiring others. It is inspiring, isn't it? Other people's stories, some of the stuff that some of our guests have been doing is just so impressive. Hope everyone is enjoying the recent lifting in some of the lockdown measures. So as of this weekend, pubs have been opened, so things are going a little bit more back to normal for us now. We're back in the office a little bit now at Silver Swan recruitment, which is good. So I hope everybody else is able to get some kind of normality sort of back in their life, which is nice. Today we're talking with Shada. I've got Shada here with me today. Shada is a very well known and well renowned international nanny. So as everybody knows, we have a very, very strict no names policy. So I don't want anybody to sort of talk about who they've worked for, but I think it's safe to say that Shada has had such an exciting career working with incredibly famous people, high profile people across sort of many different sectors really. And I'm keen just to find out a little bit more about what she loves about the industry, why other people should do it, highs and lows and struggles as working as a private nanny. And I think the rest of the private household team, I think the nannies play a really, really important role in the family's life, but they're often not that incorporated into the team within a private household. You've got your chefs and your managers and your butlers, your housekeepers, and they all sort of work very closely together. The nanny, I think, is slightly distant from that team really, because they're providing us, it's quite a different sort of service. They're looking after the children, obviously, rather than the principal. So really keen to find out a little bit more about how it all works. So hi, Shada, welcome. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Where are you based? You're here in London?
Yeah, I'm based in London, but I work internationally, worldwide, wherever the nanny families need me.
Here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
There's so much I want to find out about what you do and where you've been, and what other nannies can sort of expect if they were to do it. But let's start at the beginning. Do you want to take us right back to where this all started?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been a nanny for about 14 and a half years. I've been in the childcare industry for about 18 years. And I started off as a freelance dance and drama teacher. So I used to do teaching in PE classes, after school clubs, youth clubs, summer camps. So anywhere that you would need like a service in terms of dance and drama, I would teach that, like Saturday schools, like performing arts schools. So I started off doing that for about 10 years. And then whilst I was doing that, I was also nannying part-time and studying. And then I just fell in love with being a nanny, and I've kind of not looked back since then. So
yeah. What is it specifically then? What is it specifically that you love so much?
I love children. My main passion is working with children, seeing them grow, seeing them reach their milestones. You learn so much from being with children. And as you already know, as adults, life is already difficult. But when you work with children, you see life through their eyes, and there's just so many lessons I've learned from working with children. And I also am a very loving people person as well. So the fact that I can work on a one-on-one basis with a child and also build relationships, a lot of my nanny families are like family now to me. And I just think it's a gift that we have in terms of, if you're in the corporate world, yeah, you might meet, get on really well with colleagues. And then when you move on to another job, it's just forgotten about. But with nannying, it's kind of like you're there forever, become like an auntie or, like an extended member of the family. So that's like a benefit of working with children.
Yeah, that must be so rewarding to like have such an impact with what you do. And I think often I've got an 18-month-old, and often I'm sort of like making such an effort to, make sure he's a really good day. And I'm thinking he's never going to remember this, but it's not about that, because you're shaping who he's going to become. And and to play such an important role in who that person's going to become, that's mind-blowing, really.
It is, definitely. And to think parents trust you as a third parent to be a part of their parenting team. And I think what I really enjoy is also supporting the parents and looking after the children. It's a group effort, it's not separately. We're not doing it separately. We're all doing it together for the betterment of that child. So that's what I love. It's just, I love it, as you can tell. I'm
Yeah,
really, really
no.
love
Well,
it.
no, and I think people that are successful in whatever they do are successful because they're passionate about what they do.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, oh my God, so I don't even know where to start because I kind of wanted it in order. But I suppose to start, do you want to sort of give us an overview of? I don't want to know who you've worked for, but do you want to sort of give us an overview of the types of people you work for and maybe where your job has taken you around the world? Where's some of the places that you've worked?
Yeah, so I've worked in Nigeria for a very high profile family there that were in politics. I've worked in Italy, the USA, in France, Spain, the Middle East. I lived in Oman for a bit. Obviously in the UK, absolutely love Scotland. I worked in Scotland. And I worked for a lot of ultra high net worth individuals, celebrities, public figures. I've also worked for, the normal middle class family as well. I prefer obviously working for families that are very, very busy and have really fast paced lifestyles. It suits my personality, it suits my style of nannying as well. So I'm really hands on and I love just the busy lifestyle. I really thrive off that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, yeah, I'm exactly the same. I think if life's too slow around me, I think I'd go mad.
Yeah.
I'd go
Yeah, I'm a
mad.
bit of a free. I like to travel everywhere. So if I can travel and look after children together, it's a win-win situation for me.
Yeah. Has a lot of the nanny roles that you've been in required you to travel?
Yeah. So even with the family I'm with now, I went to Washington DC last year because my mom boss, her brother got married, so we went to Washington DC. That was amazing. Got to meet the whole family and experience being at the wedding, which was amazing. Even my family have an office in Spain. So they have an office in London and in Spain. So when they're doing business work, I travel over there with the children as well to Spain. So yeah, I've done a lot of traveling, and I only kind of accept positions that travel as well,
Mm.
because I am someone that I don't want to get bored. I want to always be on the go with the children. I love the whole experience, teaching the children about the airport and the journey, and
Mm.
it's just so much fun.
Yeah, they're so much fun. So where's been your favourite place to live and work?
Ah, that's hard. That's really hard. My favorite. Um, I'm going to say the USA, just because there's so many different states, there's so many different things you can do. And every time we traveled around the USA, it was like going to a different country.
Mm.
So I really enjoyed it. But I absolutely adored Oman because I lived on a beach, and the beach is my favorite place in the world.
Mm.
So, yeah, so I don't think I can pick between Oman and the USA. I can't pick.
So talk us through the role of nanny then, because one of the previous podcasts we've done that will be out in a couple of weeks was with a private governess. And so
Yeah,
I assume you've probably worked alongside governesses, or does your role
yeah.
involve elements of tutoring as well?
Yes, it definitely does involve elements of a governess, and I feel like a nanny is just one word, but under the umbrella of nannying, there's so many other things that come into it, so many other aspects of being a nanny. So, you're a teacher. If you're a nanny, you're also a teacher. You're a therapist. You are in charge of your child's. You're looking after your child's emotional development. Their personal development, their social development. You need to make sure any activities that you're doing relate back to a development topic or development area. And also with nannying, you're a cook, you're a chef, you're a butler, you know, your housekeeper, you're doing their laundry, you're cleaning their rooms, you're teaching them also to do their beds and things like that. So it's such a broad range of things that you do under the nanny name.
Mm.
But we say we're nannies, but we do a lot more. Like with my boys, I look after a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Prior to COVID, I was doing their homeschooling. I was teaching them phonics. I was teaching them how to write their names. I was teaching them their colors and their shapes and things like that. So it's really interesting now to see a lot of parents homeschooling, and it's like, this is a lot. And I'm like, this is what us nannies do. So we're getting the recognition now that we deserve.
And you know what? It's so true what you're just saying about what it involves, because obviously in households you have a chauffeur, you have a chef, and you have a housekeeper and all the rest to look after the adults. But then you only have one person, you, a
Yeah,
nanny, to do
Yeah.
all those duties for the
Yeah.
children. And say, for
Yeah.
example, you've got mum, dad, and you've got 3 kids, 2 or 3 kids. There is a team of people looking after mum, dad, and there's one of
Yeah.
you doing all of that for the 3
Children, yeah.
children. And children
Yeah.
are harder than adults anyway because they're children. So yeah, that's just blown my mind. That's the first time I've thought about it like that. That
Yeah.
actually you're doing the job of everybody in that house on your own for little adults that are
Yeah.
little adults, so therefore come with their own challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, mind's
And
blown.
they all have different agendas. They all want different things. Sometimes they don't even know. They say they want to go left, but really they want to go right. So it's also navigating, making sure that they're feeling confident and independent, and they're well round being children, because you want them to be very independent individuals when they're older as well. So it's navigating, making sure that they're very secure children, so they can be secure adults when they're older as well.
So I was just thinking, so I can imagine this is a really lovely environment should you get on very well with the parents and you all have the same values, but there must be occasions where you just don't, where you and the parents are on such different pages when it comes to the right way to manage the children. So how does that
Yes.
work?
So with that, I always recommend nannies and myself always having reviews every 3 months. We have a check-in, just to see what's working, what's not working, if they want me to improve on anything they want me to do less of or more of. And I think communication is so important. It also comes down to being the right fit. So there has been times where you accept a position and 3 or 4 months down the line, you're like, you know what, this is really not working. We're way too different. Maybe you need a nanny that's more suited to your style of parenting, and that's absolutely fine. But as long as nanny, this is the tricky thing about nannying, you only know you're the right fit once you're in the position.
Yeah.
It's not something you can determine before. You can speak as much as possible about the role, but it's only until you get into it. Because I've had an experience before where I had an interview on the phone, then I had a Skype interview, then I had a face-to-face interview, then I had a trial, and then I got the job. And then 6 weeks in, I had to end up leaving that position because the role was more housekeeper based. But when we spoke about it, it was very much based on the children, but I spent 90% of the time in the laundry room. I don't want to be in the laundry room. I want to be with the children. So it's one of those things where you only kind of know unless you're in it. So when it comes to that, it's regular reviews, annual reviews, performance reviews. They're very important. And you just need to be very honest. If it's not working out and you tried everything you possibly can, then it's time to move on to another family. That's more
and it's not a case of admitting defeat or failing. You're doing the right thing by the family and by the children.
Yes,
Because
yes, for sure.
it's a bit. It's probably not like this, but I feel like it's. Say again.
You're doing them a disservice if you stay, because you know that you can't fully meet the needs of this family. So why don't you give them the opportunity to find a nanny that can?
Yeah, for sure. It's not really like this, but I feel like it's a bit like dating. So like you can date someone
It is.
and go on loads of dates,
like
and it's not until you actually move in together you're like, nah,
yeah,
nah.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah,
You can do the whole. It's not me. It's not me. It's you. Palaver.
Yeah, exactly what it is, and it's a learning experience. It's a learning curve, and I'm someone that always try to find a positive in any situation.
Yeah.
So in situations where things haven't worked out so well, I'm always trying to gain a positive from it. So it's just really down to mindset as well and your attitude.
Yeah. What are some of the sort of major challenges then? Are you up against?
You get a lot of I'm a childcare expert, so when I'm giving you advice, that's coming from years of experience, years of knowledge. I have a degree in drama and dance. I also have a master's in childhood studies and early years. So when I'm speaking to you and I'm giving you advice and I'm supporting you, trust in what I'm saying, because I've done it before and it's worked. And you do get a lot of parents that tend to question, and I call it, my friend actually gave me this term, Dr. Google.
Yeah.
So they have a childcare professional expert in their home working with their children, but they would rather trust what Google says or what their friends say. But I've worked one-on-one with your child, observed your child, got to know your child inside out. So when I'm giving you the advice and the support, it's becoming from a place of knowing. And just not having that always respected can be quite challenging. Other things as well is you tend to find, which can be quite difficult, if you have someone in your home that's quite sufficient and very, very well at looking after your children, sometimes that can stir up a bit of insecurity or a bit of, you might start doubting yourself as a mother, which you should never, ever do, because you are always enough and your children love you for you. They know the nanny's the nanny and they know you're the mum, but that can sometimes stir up a bit, and everyone's human. I'm used to it. I know it happens, but that could also be quite challenging for the nanny because you don't want to overstep the mark, but you want to do a great job as well.
Yeah, when I was speaking to, so we've got someone that looks after my 18-month-old, and when I called her referee, so the person she used to work with, the woman said to me, the minute you get over the fact that your kids prefer to spend their time with the nanny than with you, then as soon as you get over that, she's brilliant, because ultimately she's more fun. And it's so true, because when I'm with him, I am with him, but I'm also trying to do the dishwasher, I'm trying to put the wash on, I'm trying to do this, go shopping. You've got a million things to do whilst you've got the baby. The nanny's fortunate enough to just be able to play and go places. So obviously I think that Freddie has way more fun on a day with Freya than he does with me, because whilst there are elements of fun in the day, he's also doing errands with me and doing all the rest. So of course it has fun, like she's got more time. And so so the rest is the best advice ever given to me. Just as soon as you get over the fact that she's more fun than you, then you'll be great. And then I got over that very quickly, and it is great.
And it's hard because it's the same things like with my nanny children. I'm still doing the laundry, I'm still washing your clothes, I'm changing your bed sheets, I'm cleaning your rooms, I'm still doing all those things as well. But I think with parents, you guys have it a lot harder in terms of us nannies can go home. Especially for me, I have no children. I can go home and I'm in silence. I only have to look after myself. But as mothers, as fathers, you guys constantly have to be on the ball. So it's like, okay, if I play with my child now, I'm not going to have enough time to cook dinner, or I'm not going to have time to do this. So it's about being extremely organized. So I normally use nap times to do the laundry or to batch cook. I love to cook meals from scratch, fresh meals for my nanny children on the day. And I do like a monthly meal plan as well for them. So the parents know what their children are having on different days of the week, and they know 4 weeks in advance what they're going to have. So you have to be extremely, as a nanny, extremely organized, because you want to be able to have that moment to play with the children, but also get the domestic kind of stuff out of the way as well.
Yeah, I think as someone said to me before, that organisation is key. If you're not organised, then it's just chaos.
Shambles.
You feel it
It's
as
a shambles. It's shambles. You struggle. You will struggle.
What's your view on living in versus living out?
I am someone that loves my solitude, so I prefer to live out. I've always preferred to live on my own. I'm single, so I'm used to being on my own. I'm one of 6 children, and if you include the step, I'm one of 11. So I've always had people around growing up, always been around people. So when I started adulting, like I like to call it, I really enjoyed the alone time. So when I lived in, I really struggled with that. Not that the parents picked up on it at all, because whenever I was out of my room, I was always very sociable, but it's just, I like sometimes to be by myself. So I prefer live out, but I don't mind living if it's temporary. If it's temporary, I don't mind living in, but permanently, I think I'm better suited to a live out position.
Yeah, I understand. I'm also one of 6 kids. I don't know any people that want 6 kids.
Amazing. What number are you?
I'm number 4.
I'm number 5.
So yeah,
5 girls, 1 boy.
5 girls, 1 boy in my family as well.
No way, my brother's the youngest.
Oh no, my brother's number 3.
Okay, so we've got 5 girls. My mum just kept going until she got her boy.
We weren't sure why mum kept going. We thought that makes sense, but because he came so early, obviously it wasn't that.
Yeah. Mum wanted the boy. She was chasing her boy, and she got him.
She got there in the end. I wonder how many she'd have carried on to until she got him.
Yeah, I know. We would have been like 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. It's like, Mum, like girls are fine. Boys aren't that good. It's fine.
I prefer. It's weird because sometimes like, oh, you prefer girls or boys? I think I'm a boy nanny only because I just attract boys all the time. I just like my last 6 families have been 2 boys.
Wow, just by chance.
2 boys. Yeah, 2 boys, and then I had boy and girl. I've had a boy-girl combinations before, but I really excel at boys. I think because I'm quite a bit like boisterous with them. When they're running around and jumping, I'm doing it with them as well. They're rolling on the floor, jumping on it. I'm doing it with them. So I think quite suited to that actually.
Yeah, I bet. So how do you manage this as a nanny then? If you've got a 1-year-old, like a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 10-year-old, how do you sort of entertain groups of such wide age ranges?
With wide age ranges, you need to find out the interest of the children. So I was going through the interest. So the 10-year-old obviously is going to have a different interest to the 6-year-old. So you kind of have to make sure you map time out for them as well. So when the 1-year-old is napping, then you could have alone time with the 10-year-old while the 6-year-old has independent play, and then you can swap it over. So the boys that I look after now are 4 and 2. And prior to boy 4 going back to school, I use my phone a lot for the timer. So I will set a 10-minute timer and I'll say, this is my time with boy 2. You can play with anything that you want to play with. So he would normally sit and do Lego. We're in the same room, but he's in his corner and he's playing with whatever it is he wants to play with. I'm still supervising him. But if he went in his room, there's a camera, so I will watch him on the camera. And then I'll be in the living room with boy 2 and we'll play something together, whether that's Play-Doh, drawing, painting, arts and crafts, whatever he wanted to do. It was always child-led. So whatever the child wanted, I would never say, we're going to sit down for 10 minutes and do this. It was always whatever the child wanted to do for those 10 or 20 minutes. And then we'll swap. When the timer went off, they'll be like, the timer! They knew, and then they will swap. And then they get their one-on-one time with Shada. So I really encourage that because, one, it teaches independent play, creativity. The children become more confident because they don't rely on you to teach them how to play. You know, they learn through exploring on their own. And then also they get the one-on-one adult interaction with me as well. So that's something that works for me, that I would advise other people to do as well.
Yeah, sure. And so when you're working with like high profile nannies or families of ultra high net worth, I assume there are probably other domestic staff employed by the family.
Yeah.
And so you're probably quite used to working a lot like within a team, or do you find your roles quite isolated?
I don't mind. I'm very adaptable. I absolutely love, like when I worked in Oman, that was in 2017 and 2018. I'm still very, very close with the housekeeper. I actually spoke to her yesterday. So, you know, you build lifelong friendships with people. And because you're a team, your job is to support the family. So you're all working collectively together. So you all have that common denominator. So I love it, and the more the merrier. I grew up in a big household with loads of people, so I'm very, very used to that as well. So my solitude is at home. When I'm by myself, that's when I get my alone time. But at work, the more the merrier. Bring it on.
It's so nice as well, because I think a lot of people that might be wanting to move into the private sector, and they maybe work in a nursery at the moment, I think they probably think it was going to be much more lonely. It's just going to be me and the kids. The parents will be at work. I'll be on my own. I'm going to miss sort of working with other adults. But actually, within the private sector, you're often working with other adults because there are often other staff within the home.
Yeah, for sure. And it is nannying is a very isolating profession. It can be very lonely, but this is the importance of building a nanny network, which is one of the things I'll mention later about my mentoring program. It's about building a community of nannies and friends that you can rely on, that you can speak to. When I was in Oman, I used to have a lot of Skype calls with nanny friends back in the UK, you know, just having a chat if I was having a hard day, or even just to check in to see how the day was. So it's just important to also, you know, if you're going to do play dates with other nannies, build up relationships with them as well. You know, you find other nannies that have similar age groups to the children that you have. And it's just about being sociable and putting yourself out there.
And good for the kids as well.
Amazing for the kids, social skills, and they gain best friends, little like extended family, like cousins. Some of the children that I've looked after before, their friends become family, and then you become family with that family, and it's just, you know, it's just like a nice little blended family altogether.
Yeah, lovely. So we move on then, and sort of, do you want to tell us a bit more about your mentoring coaching program? Because I think it's brilliant.
Okay. Thank you. So for me, I have a saying that says, "Be the change that you want to see." So I looked and I said, I've been doing this for 18 plus years. I've only just started making nanny friends in the last 3 or 4 years, and it's been mind-blowing. I've made some great friendships, and even putting myself on a public platform this year in April, I've managed to connect with nannies in Chicago, in New York, New Jersey, all over the world. And it's just been amazing to have that support system there. So I decided, I get a lot of questions. I probably get on average about 10 to 15 questions a week from nannies asking questions, whether it's, oh, I've just applied for this new job, and I got interviewed, what interview questions should I ask? So I actually have a PDF file that I made for nannies, and it has like 6 pages long of questions you need to ask, what you need to have in your nanny profile, the things that you need to have, like your deal breakers, what is it that you're prepared to do, your code of conduct, so things like that. So negotiation skills, also building up a network of nannies where we all support and uplift each other in a positive environment. So my mentoring and coaching program is subscription based per month or yearly, and they can have me as a mentor. I'm also very big at teaching nannies to have multiple streams of income. So don't just rely on nannying. If you are going to be a nanny, build your brand as a nanny. Build your brand as a childcare expert. Find your unique selling point. What is it about you that makes you stand out from other nannies? Mine, I would say, is my personality and my passion mixed together with my experience of childcare and dance and drama. So I've been. That's going to be launching in about 2 weeks. I've actually been mentoring nannyings. I've learned when I've looked back for years and unaware of it. And I've had a few nannies inquire, could you be my mentor? And I was like, I don't really do that, but it's starting to happen where a lot more people are coming now. Like, I really need you to be my mentor, Shada. So I was like, I'm going to set up a program, and we're going to have monthly Zoom calls. Eventually, once COVID is over or eases up, we'll have meetups. And I'm working on a second nanny business as well, which is a topic for another day. But it's all about bringing nannies together and making sure we are the best version of ourselves as women or as men, because there's mannies as well. Let's not forget about the mannies. And just, supporting each other and make sure we have all the right skills and tools to be the professionals that we are.
You know what? That's so nice. And that was the whole point of this podcast in the first place, really, where it's kind of like, it's such a big industry, but it's such a closed industry, the private sector, and it's all very secretive, and no one likes to talk to anybody. And yes, I definitely respect confidentiality. And the point of this podcast is not to go and blab secret stories about how the other half live at all. It's not about that. It's to bring together us as individuals that are working in the sector, and we all have the same challenges, same highs, same lows. And just by coming together and having a bit of a community, we can sort of like part of something. Of one another, make some friends, and just learn along the way. And I think that your thing's great, because nannies, especially new to the industry, can typically be quite young, and so quite sort of inexperienced, just generally with not just nanny, but in the world of work as it is. And so having sort of people to go to, it's not like you've got your mate that sits on the desk next door that you can go for coffee with at lunchtime and chat about your manager. Like, you can't do that. So it's just to get. So I think that's such a good idea. Is there a name for it?
Yeah, it's just a Nanny Sharz mentor and coaching program.
Brilliant. So good. People should definitely look into that.
Thank you. There's nannies as well that inquired that have been nannies for 20 plus years. Yeah. And have asked me to mentor them. So I have less experience, but they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was meant to be doing this. Or, wow, that's a really good tip. I never thought to do that. And they're like, oh my God, like, you're really knowledgeable. Like, I should really jump on this. So I've had a nanny that's been, she's in Chicago. She's been a nanny for over 22 years. And she's like, I'm really interested in your mentor program. So it's not even about just the age or how long you've been doing it. It's about, I know I have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and I could help a lot of people. And I'm all about helping others. So it's a passion of mine.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's exactly, you've got a platform, you can help others. So, why not? And so so you're obviously in work at the moment. How has COVID affected you? Has it affected day to day, affected some of the stuff that you've been doing?
It hasn't affected my day-to-day position that I'm in now. I literally go to work and come home. That's it. But in terms of the other aspects of my nanny business, my Nanny Sharz Limited, so I'm a potty training specialist. I'm a sleep consultant, and I'm also a parent coach. So that aspect of things, I've had to move all online. So I really love interacting with people. So I used to go in people's homes and coach them. I used to go into people's homes and sleep train their children. and their babies and their toddlers. And I used to also go into people's homes and they would potty train their children in 3 days or 5 days. My packages are 3 days or 5 days. And I used to potty train children, which I absolutely love doing. And now I can't do that in person, which is a bit upsetting, but I can also move my services online. So now I'm doing a lot of coaching through the phone, through Zoom. And it's amazing. I love that I'm still doing it, but I really do miss the one-on-one, interaction, like human interaction.
You know what?
Seeing the progress.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat there, aren't we? And I think a lot of what we do in this industry is because we like working with people, and it's like taking that away. And yes, some people have been fortunate enough to continue working and isolating themselves with the family, but there's still a huge aspect that we're missing out on, isn't there? And obviously those that obviously can't go to work. So I'm feeling positive. What's the date today? Today's the 2nd of July. So when we record this, so 4th of July, pubs are opening. No, what date? Today's the 3rd. So tomorrow is when. So tomorrow is when sort of things start to release. I can guarantee that tomorrow pubs will open. In 3 weeks' time, pubs will shut because people will just be shit. That's my prediction. So I think if you want to go out, go now because exactly. So have you just to sort of like sort of wrap up a little bit. So firstly, is it a sector you'd recommend to people thinking about getting into it?
Say it again, sorry?
Is it a sector, working privately, is it a sector you'd recommend to others, people listening who maybe work in nurseries? Would you recommend this lifestyle to other nannies?
100%. It is the best decision I ever made. I am 18 years deep and I'm loving it like I started yesterday. And I think the level of job satisfaction I get, I've not met anyone else yet that still feels the way that I feel after 18 years. So that just goes to say that if you are passionate about children, especially if you're working in a nursery, everyone that I've met that's a nanny now that's worked in a nursery said that's the best decision that they've made. So I'm biased though, because I'm all like nannies, pro nannies, let's do this. So I'm all for it, and I love hearing about people that are changing their careers and going into nanny, and I'm like, oh, really exciting, welcome, join us, let's go. So
I think that enjoyment of what you do sort of ties back to what you said before about making sure you've got the right family, because I think you've probably had a really good experience because you've picked your families carefully and you've not stuck with families that haven't worked for you. So I can imagine the worst thing ever would be to be a nanny and just not enjoy the environment you're working in. I suppose that sort of ties back to
I've had some pretty bad stories. I've had some pretty horrific experiences, but we'll keep that for another day.
You generally found that you've been very well treated by your families?
Not all the time. It's been very 50-50. And I think it's down to the fact that I'm Jamaican. I'm British born. I'm Jamaican. So I am very vocal and I'm very assertive as well. So I think a lot of nannies are afraid to speak up, and I'm not. So I think if there's an issue, I like to address it and we can move forward. I'm that type of nanny. So that has in the past become an issue. But I always feel like for me to be the best nanny I can be for your family and your child, that we can have conflict or anything and we can resolve it and work together. Like I said, you said it's like dating. It's like being in a marriage a bit, you have your issues, but you work together as a team to resolve those issues and, make the situation better.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, communication is key. And I think if you're in this environment where you can't speak up to resolve issues, then the issues will just stay unresolved, and that's never going to work out long term, is it? And you can't change who you are as well. Like, I'm loud as well and don't stop talking. And you can't change who you are, and that's your that's your selling point, and you're going to thrive with the right family. So it's all about just making sure you're in the right working environment for you.
Yes. It's the fit, getting the right fit. It takes a while, but once you find it, in the nanny industry, we call it the unicorn family. You found your unicorn family, and once you find your unicorn family, you would just strive and just be so happy.
I suppose there must be like a bit of a sad element to it, because kids are only going to grow up and at some point not going to need you. So it's not a forever. It can't ever be a forever job, can it?
Yeah, no. It's so strange people say that, because even like I left a family where the youngest was 18 months. They didn't need me anymore. They were going into nursery and private school, and now they're 5 and 6, and I still speak to them.
Oh, good.
So it's something that even when they get older, you probably won't be their nanny, but you always will be their nanny, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, so they might not need you. And when you start noticing they don't need you as much, it's time to move on, you can always, transition to being more PA nanny or, more housekeeper nanny if you want to stay on. Or you can always, like for now, a lot of my past families, I'm their travel nanny. So whenever they go on holiday, they know for sure Shada's going to be reliable. We know the kids are going to absolutely love her. We can go on a date night and not feel worried. The children know her. So I tend to do a lot of travel nannying and babysitting or ad hoc nannying for my past families.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you're not there, but you're there.
Yeah. Can't get rid of me that easily.
Yeah, no, I'm like, you're stuck with me now.
And so you've been with your family. So what's the future sort of hold for you now then? So you're happily with the family now, or like what would the next sort of 5 years look for
I'll
you?
be finishing with this family towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
My next, what's going to be working for me is working on my nanny brand, which is Nanny Sharz Limited. I also have a business called Nanny and Manny Co, which I'm launching very, very soon. And that will be catering to the nanny industry. So it'll be putting on social events for nannies, retreats, day trips, weekenders, spa retreatments, just to build up the nanny community and brunches. I'm also going to have a clothing line for nannies. So it's going to be a lifestyle clothing brand for nannies. And I'm also going to be having online courses for any new nannies that want to get into the industry and they need some experience or some qualifications. We're going to be offering that. And I'm also working on opening up a nanny academy here in the UK and also in Africa. So that is what my future looks like. And I'm really, really excited.
Love it. That sounds like busy but brilliant. Your brain works like my brain. I'm like, right, what next? You should, in fact, you should start a podcast. You should get your nannies on talk.
I know, everyone says it to me because I talk for England, but it's just like I've got so much on my plate at the moment. It's constantly busy. Like I work 7 days a week at the moment, and I'm trying to do 6.5 days, so I could just have some time on a Sunday just to chill while I'm working on it. I'm a bit of a workaholic, and my work ethic is like second to none. So I pride myself on that.
Yeah, but you know what? It will take you far. And though you get out what you put in with life, and the more you put in, you keep busy, you do stuff you want to be doing, you're going to have a really successful career. Well, I'll definitely keep an eye on your thing. Sharz Limited, SHARZ.
Nanny Sharz. So NANNY, Nanny Sharz, SHARZ. You can find me on all social media platforms, and I'm at Shada Lambert and LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and what's the other one? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm also on YouTube as well, Nanny Sharz.
Fabulous. So what we'll do is when we post this out, we'll put links to all your pages, and then nannies that are interested, or even parents listening that need help with their children. I might need you to come help potty train in 6 months' time.
Yeah, that's fine. I have, I have sessions called Pick My Brain sessions where you can book a consultation with me for 20 minutes. If you've got any advice that you need, or if you need longer, we can talk about that as well. So if you don't want to actually have my services as a nanny or parent coach or sleep consultant or potty training, you can always ask me for advice and I can support you. You can book a session with me and we can do that over the phone or over Zoom. So I'm happy to do that.
So good. So what we'll do is we'll post out links so people can contact you when we sort of put this live in a couple of weeks. Cool. Well, thanks so much. Thanks so much. It's so nice to hear just hear how other sort of roles fit into a private home, and like I say, it can be quite isolating, and it is just you and the kids often. It's nice for other people to acknowledge the amount that goes into it and how hard it can be. So that's a wrap for this week then, guys. Thanks everyone for listening. Any questions, you can come to me. I'm on LinkedIn, Philippa Smith. If you're liking what you're hearing, please come and subscribe. And then if we can help you at all with your job hunt or with any recruitment, then obviously Silver Swan Recruitment is the agency you can come to. Thank you very much, and I will speak to you next week. Thank you.